We had an amazing event not too long ago with, former quarterback Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
There was something he said that really resonated because it's true and it's simple, but he was like, none of us would be in this room if it wasn't for a challenge or several challenges. That on the other side of challenges are opportunities, right? And I was like, it was just a big resounding yes.
Ever wonder what it takes to unlock true Black innovation and wealth creation? You're in the right place.
This is From Chains to Links, where the brightest Black minds, entrepreneurs, academics, creatives, and futurists reimagine what it means to build generational wealth and a thriving Black community.
We're not just talking about change, we are building it. Stick around because this conversation is about to spark something different.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of From Chains to Links. I am your co-host, Ifeoma Ike, also known as Iffy, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Kelly Burton. How are you, Kelly?
I'm good, Iffy. How are you?
I am okay. I'm okay. This is the last episode of this season.
Yep.
And we have a little bit of a break, which we'll be excited to end this conversation with what's next on the horizon. But it's been a journey.
Yes.
I remember the conversation we had that kind of kickstarted this whole thing.
Yeah.
Didn't know that was going to result in me being talent.
From the cool genius that is it EK? Yeah.
Shout
Like
out to
so many
all
things.
the production team, Carbon Thread,
Yeah.
Studio J Lauren. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all drop a little bit of an idea with these folks, you will be.
It's happening.
Listen, you have T-shirts with a logo with something you said that you're like, did I say that? And they ready. So
48 hours.
and Kelly Burton doesn't help. So I'm gonna kick it off to you because you heard this phrase from Chains to Links, and now we are 3-4 seasons in.
Yeah.
We've heard amazing feedback from not just people that own a business, but people that have what you've coined, this entrepreneurial spirit that are like, wow, this is really, really, really different than what's out there. What do you think makes this space different, especially since we are an innovation podcast? Our guests have been amazing innovators and entrepreneurs and just, social problem solvers. But what do you think makes this different than, say, some of the other innovation podcasts?
Well, I go back to when we were really imagining and thinking through the format, and you were very intent on it being an innovation podcast and us centering Black innovation. So yes, it's a conversation about collective economics. Yes, it's a conversation about how we as a Black community can really be empowered in this moment, but it's also a podcast on Black innovation. So we've had entrepreneurs, we've had investors, we've had nonprofit executives and leaders. We have people who are building ecosystems in their own community. And we've been able to have these really rich conversations that are different and distinct from the conversations that are being had on other platforms. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah. And I'm wondering if there's any moment that stands out for you. I'll let you think about that for a second. I think what stands out for me the most is, number one, we wanted innovation to be accessible.
Yeah.
Our shows have had joy, laughter. We invite our guests to be their true selves. We know what it's like to have to show a certain form of perfection and excellence in other spaces. And I just love the freedom that I think we have modeled and therefore ushered from our guests. And it's just been a delight to have them speak their truth and have a space where they can speak their truth about their journeys. One of the features that I love about From Chains to Links is that we really centered wellness and mental health.
Yeah.
It is something that can be a very personal and at times scary process. We live in a society where it's kind of like keep your problems at the door, as if who you are and how you're thinking is a problem.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to be around so many people that felt that we're safe enough to talk about like the reality of like, yo, if I'm not well, it impacts my business, it impacts my employees, it impacts how I innovate. And then I think the last thing that's been my favorite question that I wish we would have gone back to this season is the question of, you used to ask it so sharply because you couldn't wait. When did you first know that you were Black? After they gave their beautiful introductions, and when you said, "And when did you know that you were Black?" And then when did you know you was Black in America? You were like, "Oh, Lord." I love that.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because I had the most fascinating conversation with my auntie. I think I told you this. And my auntie is in her 60s. And she was like, Kelly, I'd never thought about it. It took me down this whole personal journey of growing up in the South and what that was like and why I left. And she's like, I've never experienced content that forced me to be introspective in that way. Now, mind you, she my auntie. So I mean, anything I do, she loves, right? So I get that part. But also I think that it was a genuine reflection from her. And I've heard similar things from folks. Whereas the content that's come out of From Chains to Links has given people an opportunity to reflect in a different kind of a way.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story of your auntie. I always get fascinated by how people call their aunts. Is it aunt? Is it auntie? Is it auntie? Like, people just have different ways of saying aunt or auntie. How do we say auntie? Yeah, auntie. And ours is very African glottal here, so everything's very down here. Hey, auntie, right? But I say that because at the root of a lot of what we do is storytelling. Yes. Storytelling is an innovation. Yes. It is a gift. It is a craft. And we all will transition from this earth, but it is the stories that hold community. And innovation in the modern world, it's largely seen as a thing to do, a frontier, Silicon Valley, tech, accomplished, stake your flag. And I think as I reflect on this space, especially since we both are social scientists, my early background was in engineering, everything was just kind of hardwired to be very mechanical. Yeah. And I feel like we put some meat on the innovation bones, no, there are real humans here that are going through real stuff. And I hope we see some more of that. I don't know if you have any reflections on the blend of storytelling and innovation that we were able to do with this project.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the piece that you shared about wellness and how we were able to, we're joined with Erin and Cece, and they're telling us about their journey and how similar it was to our journey, right? And the challenges and the struggles and the ways that it impacts our health. And to your point, I feel that in this conversation around entrepreneurship, especially, it is romanticized in ways that are not real. I don't think are not real based on the conversations that I have with entrepreneurs every single day. So I feel that it allowed us to offer a fresh take and a real take on what entrepreneurship looks like within our community. And I hope that there's an opportunity for more of that, because I feel that we just scratched the surface.
Yeah. When we said that there's some projects that we are working on, so if you all are nosy enough to want to know what they are, you're going to have to be connected to us, but I'm not telling. But one of the things that we're really excited about is providing the human holistic side, not even just as a practice, but because I think without distinctly saying that it is part of the theory of change, there is a theory of practice that isolation does not help an entrepreneur.
That's right.
To do this. And really, if you think about it, any good thing you've done in life was very far from bootstraps. You had community, you had aunties, you had people there cheering you on, even if they didn't know what you were doing.
Right.
And we are, you know what I mean? We are, Chains to Links is really also how those of us that have been programmed to participate in that way of existence, that there's another way of existing, and potentially a more sustainable way, or that it provides more sustainability to our collective existence, especially in these changing times.
Yeah.
If you're too afraid to tell your story, then you may not be able to get the blessing on the other side of people that are invested in who you are and what you're trying to create.
Yes, 100%. And, part of this break that we're taking is for us to be able to build the infrastructure that allows us to tell those stories at scale. And it's really exciting. We have learned so much on this journey of From Chains to Links, and now we get to convert those learnings in ways that enable us to have even greater impact.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you excited
So
about this next chapter?
I am. I'm really excited. I'm really excited because I think that a lot of trust has been built between all of the teams that are working to do exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
We all have experimented with so much of even revelation for ourselves through this project.
Yeah.
Still getting a lot of dings with folks about like, oh, you and Kelly went there on the entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey. I said,
Oh, yeah.
I sat on that couch too, like, she going in.
Let's go there.
Where's my tambourine? Right?
And your fan, right?
You understand? You need to understand that to the listening audience, Kelly is half flower child and half scientist. So as my co-talent and sometimes my employer, you see the scientist a lot. But when Kelly leads into like these free-flowing conversations, you don't know what's going to come out.
The other sides. The other sides.
I'm very excited about this next chapter because I think that, we don't center this podcast on the organization that is tucked in, which is the Black Innovation Alliance, affectionately called BIA. But, Kelly, you are the brainchild, the co-brainchild, and the current steward of this space. And so I know you wouldn't attribute it to such, but I would not be me if I didn't say that the femme genius of who you are is what has allowed for there to be a different, fresh way that people can not only be a part of this community, but support this community and the infrastructure that we're building. So I say that to folks that, recognize the power of storytelling, of narratives, even of visuals to spark excitement for people that are struggling, for young people that may be trying to figure out if they're going to be a business owner, or for people that are like, I want to invest more in the fastest growing demographics and making sure that they succeed. I'm just excited that we get to take a moment to kind of really think about how all of those pathways are connected to each other and are not desegregated.
Yeah. No,
or segregated, excuse me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we are in such an interesting moment. We started this podcast really thinking about collective economics, and there are actively people who are, carrying out economic boycotts against companies in this moment in ways that we probably could not have imagined a year or two ago, at least not in a way that has been so mainstreamed.
Yeah.
So a conversation that we were talking about dedicated to the Black community is a conversation that the mainstream is having. And I think that that's really powerful. I think there's a lot in planting seeds or watering, right? And that there's a scripture that God will allow for the increase. God will create the increase. So it just encourages me to say at BIA, we're going to keep planting seeds, right? We're going to keep watering. We're going to continue to cultivate and watch God create the increase, because as much chaos as there is in this moment, there's so much possibility. And that is what I am most excited about. So how about you? Where do you see the possibility in this moment?
We had an amazing event not too long ago with, former quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Yes. There was something he said that really resonated because it's true and it's simple, but he was like, none of us would be in this room if it wasn't for a challenge or several challenges, that on the other side of challenges are opportunities, right? And I was like, it was just a big resounding yes. It reminded me of when I went to law school, specifically choosing a law school that was the only one focused on public interest, which means I'm not here to get rich. But the one security that I had was, as long as there's a problem, I'm never out of a job. And I'm excited specifically in this moment, as you're talking about the boycotts and the climate that we're in. I'm excited that I think people are getting closer, if not already there, as to like moving from what is your job to what is your purpose, right? What is your enterprise to what is your assignment? And when you're able to create an entrepreneurial pathway, or even another way of looking at it, when the universe is conspiring that it allows you to be able to exist and survive while doing good, I think that the question is, can we get more people that can do that? Right. And so I'm excited about the many ways, specifically with BIA, that you all are creating deposits so that people that know that they're built different can build together, be built to last.
I like that.
And that they recognize that they don't have to do it alone, that with trust.
Yes. Are you on fire today? Take that.
I'm literally making a paragraph of the existing programs that we have. That with trust, there is a team like BIA. And even if what we have isn't able to hit every entrepreneur, we are a model of what is possible.
Yeah.
Period. We matter. We exist. Businesses exist because we exist. And I think that that's the most exciting part of the next chapter, is that this is a seed. And when we come back to think of new show ideas and new ways to pollinate the landscape, it'll be informed by all these new things that are popping up. So yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
You're giving me, we are entering the age of the entrepreneur. Like, and it's time to own it. Like, let's go.
I think so. I think so. And the informed, the conscious, the knuck if you buck, you know what I mean? We want to see everybody that has that spirit. You've been very intentional about that like everybody has a spirit, even if they're in a cubicle. That's like, I have a vision of something that I want at the core to sustain my family. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be creating something new. It could be like, you know what? My grandfather used to have a tire shop. I could sell tires. What is my business plan? How do I get this up and running? And so I'm just hopeful that people, see the warm voices, the laughs, the rosy cheeks, the beautiful faces. If we look inviting, it's on purpose. Yeah. This does not have to be a bitter process that unfortunately many of us went through, sometimes from rejection within, right? Not necessarily from outside communities. No, I don't think that we have to haze our way through everything. I think there can be some soft spaces to do this work. And we are a soft space.
Oh, that's so beautiful. We are a soft space. Ify, I want to thank you for going on this journey with me. Yeah, it's been a beautiful journey, and I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
But also, thank you for being the resident griot at Black Innovation Alliance, like the steward of our voice. Folks don't realize, but there's so much of like the intellectual juiciness that comes out of BIA comes from you. And so I just want to let you know that I'm so deeply grateful for you. And for your willingness to always be like, okay, let's try it. Because I know that can probably get a little exhausting. You're like, okay, we tried this too. Okay, let's try it. Let's do it. Why not? Okay, I'll do a podcast with you.
It's kind of hard when people come to your backyard with suitcases. And do you have your outfit? Don't worry about the lights. Don't worry. Valentina got something for you to eat. Because I'm like,
where the granola bars at?
Listen, y'all think we're joking? Like they literally 2 days later, and then I was like, do I need different outfits? Because we're not perfect. You get it, Ify. We'll see you in a couple days. And I'm like, what? But yes, I usually go with the flow for the most part. I got my issues. I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit. But I mean, one of the things, it's a space full of some of the most brilliant minds. I know you probably feel this way, Kelly, but I've said this, that like to work with other brilliant, iterative minds all at the same time. Sometimes the biggest issue you have is that everybody has a brilliant idea and you're trying to figure out what's the best brilliant idea. But when you get off those calls and really sit back and think about it, it's like, we're always going to land on brilliance. It doesn't matter like where it comes from.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, as we close out this chapter, just shout out to the rest of our team who has held it down in all the ways.
I can't.
We love y'all.
Yeah, I want to.
And
Y'all are amazing.
we got so much more to come. Like that's exciting. So this is not goodbye. This is see you soon.
See
you soon. Bigger, better. I'm looking at
don't do it. Don't do it. I knew where she was going. Yeah, there's something really juicy on the horizon. And
fill in the gap. Bigger, better, fill in the gap.
I'm gonna call Beyonce's team to get some NDAs in order so that you don't spill it out in these streets. Oh gosh.
Okay.
So with that being said, we want to thank you all again for joining us throughout this season. Thank you for joining Chains to Links. So we would love to hear what are some of your thoughts on not only storytelling as a core component of how we innovate moving forward, but also what do you want to hear more of? Who do you want to hear from? What is it that you're hoping that we can cover? Please let us know in the comments, drop that below. And again, we thank you for listening to Chains to Links. Follow us. And you can find all the different spaces to follow us on our website, www.chainstolinks.com. And thank you so much. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
And we'll be back when we're back.
We'll be back when we're back. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks for riding with us on today's journey. If this episode hit home, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend.
Visit FromChainsToLinks.com for more content and make sure to subscribe on our YouTube.
Follow us on Instagram at @BuildWithBIA, and let's keep this movement growing.
The road to true Black prosperity is built together, and we need you to do it.